Girls of Reddit, what was the best flirting technique someone did to you? Story 1. We'd met previously, and he was trying to get out of the friend zone quickly. I told him I was too busy to date. He offered to hang out with me while I plowed through a ton of errands, including an oil change, getting gas, returning shoes, picking up cleaning, and blowing up balloons for a party. It was so nice to have support of me being me and me doing stuff, and it was nice low-key, no pressure hanging out to get to know each other. I was so busy that day I forgot to eat lunch, and he got me a donut and coffee. I married him. Story 2. Told me he liked to draw and asked for my number so he could send me some examples. Then he freehanded a picture of a moose for me. Wow, this blew up overnight. Thank you for the rewards. I am adding a link to the moose pic he sent me. The moose pic. Story 3. He said, I have a riddle for you. Then he took my hand and traced a line down the middle of my palm. This is a river. It is too wide to jump over, too deep to wade across, too fast to swim across, and too long to go around. There is a bunny stuck on one side of it. How does the bunny cross the river? After about 10 minutes of me trying to guess the answer, I gave up and asked him how the bunny got across the river. He said, Who cares? I just wanted to hold your hand. Story 4. Just being genuinely nice. My boyfriend was too shy to flirt with me at first since we're only friends, so he texted me saying I looked really nice that day after seeing me, and it was such a simple thing, but it really made my day better. And that can let the person know you are interested in them. It doesn't need to be a big scheme. Story 5. I started dating the university's lone wolf and was extremely surprised to find how incorrigible a flirt he was. But he didn't speak my native language, he was not from my state, and my parents wouldn't have approved of our relationship. When I told him I didn't want to lead him on, he said we would try our best, and if it didn't work out he would take full responsibility for his broken heart, and that I need not feel pressured. The feeling of liberation I felt cinched the deal for me. Looking back, I am strangely touched by how he, an introvert, had allowed himself to be openly vulnerable in front of me. After 7 years of a solid relationship, which included 3 years of wearing my parents down to accept him, we got married a couple of months ago. Story 6. We were classmates in college, and one morning, I called him on my way to school. I lived over an hour away, and we usually called and chatted while I drove, and complained about a headache. When I got to school, he was there with ibuprofen, water, and one of those yogurt parfait thingies. I also made a comment once about my eyeliner running out, and he brought one to school the next day. Found out from his brother after we started dating that he had spent like an hour at the store asking the makeup employees for the right ones since he had no idea what an eyeliner pen was. We've been married for 4 years now, and he's still a total sweetheart. Story 7. I don't know if it's the best, but it's definitely the most memorable. I was at the gym and had been honestly taking things to the extreme for a while and not listening to my body. I suddenly got very dizzy and my sight became white. On the realization that I was about to pass out, I slowly lowered myself down to the floor. One of the guys working out came swooping in to grab me and prevent my head from hitting the floor. He lay me down and tried to get me to remain conscious, asking me all sorts of questions that required some concentration, like what day of the week it is and who is the president. When he saw that I was okay and recovering, his questions started getting flirty. What's my name? What's my number? Now that he's become my knight in shining armor, can he take me out on a date sometime? It really made me laugh and feel better just by him being so lighthearted about it. He got my number. Story 8. I was playing my 3DS on the train and a guy sat across from me, said, "Excuse me, can I ask what you're playing?" And we struck up a conversation. I was so engaged that I almost missed my stop. Afterwards we would sit and talk on our way home, and he started gifting me books from his work. That's when I asked him out. Edit. Instead of answering individual questions, the game was Animal Crossing, New Leaf, my go-to game to wind down after a long day. When I asked him out, he said yes. But after a few dates, we parted amicably. Sorry, no love story here. Story 9. I met my, now, husband while I was in the hospital. He worked there and I was a frequent patient, unfortunately. Anyway, he would bring daffodils to my room. Or apple juice. He snuck me extra warm blankets and would sit with me before/after his shift. When I got out, he offered to get groceries and wash my hair. All of it just as a friend. He knew I wasn't interested in dating while going through everything, and so he was just there. Turns out I happened to like him there, and we are celebrating our 12th anniversary this year. Story 10. Years and years ago I worked at Florist, where the owner illegally hired mostly Mexican girls in the States to learn English. They went to school, but worked for a rate that wasn't even minimum wage. It was super shady, but I loved working with them. We would make up little games to teach me Spanish/them English. Anyway, this Latin guy comes in one day and one of the girls is helping him. He wants to get a bouquet for a girl he likes, so she takes him around the store, showing him what she thinks are the best flowers. She wraps it all up for him, and right as he pays, he writes his number on the paper and hand them to her. I was floored. It was so smooth. She was completely unfazed, like, oh, that's how men are, like, where I'm from, men don't do that here. I was like, nope. Story 11. I was walking on my university campus, tripped, and dropped my books. Heeled sandals, raised sidewalk. He asked me if I was okay, and picked up my books. He then carried my books and walked me to class. We chatted the entire walk, and when we got to my class, he asked for my phone number. I tore off a piece of paper and wrote it, but without my name. I wanted to see if he was listening when I told him. He listened. We've been married over 20 years. He makes me smile every day. Story 12. We walked home together all the time from school, and he would do something cute/funny/caring to make sure I was on the inside of the sidewalk when we were together. Like he would twirl me around and guide me to the inside, or tickle my side and jokingly push me to the inside of the sidewalk. I guess not a typical flirt move, but considering 99% of the I was walking to get anywhere, him wanting me to be safe when we were together was so sweet. We are not together, and have never dated, but that still is one of the top things on my list of sweet moments. Even in school he'd walk on the outside 'cause I always got shoulder checked by people passing by. Story 13. Last year of college for us. He'd show up after my classes and follow me around everywhere, talking incessantly. When he'd see me on campus, he'd run over to say hi. I would flirt by sometimes picking a little wildflower to give to him when I saw him next that day. He'd wear it in his shirt or behind his ear. We now have 2 sons, and he's taught the older one, younger as a baby, to give me little wildflowers when we're out walking together. Story 14. In college, my best friend was this guy that I had a flirty friendship with, but we were both dating other people. We lived in the same buildings as each other freshman/junior year, and spent a lot of time together, but again, we were with other people. Freshman year we were watching a movie together, and this couple had an epic kiss in the rain, and I offhandedly mentioned I thought it was so romantic. Senior year rolls around and we're both finally single. We were walking home from a party, it started raining, and he just kinda grabbed me and kissed me, and mentioned he thought about what I said anytime it rained. We had a very intense relationship for about a year, and then it kind of ended in disaster, and we haven't spoken since, lol. Story 15. Guy here. Only tried this once. I was at a formal function, and this cute little brunette was sitting at my table. We made eye contact all evening and chatted as best we could with someone sitting in between us. As the evening was winding down, my roommate, who I rode with, was ready to leave and go to a local bar. I went up to the young lady and put my hand gently on her bare back and told her that we were leaving and I hoped to see her at the bar. I really, truly had never been that forward with anyone before. We have been married now for over 30 years and she still comments on that moment, so I guess it worked. Story 16. I was in Chicago on business, got a horrible migraine, and had to cancel a meeting with a man I had met with, for work, the day before. I get really bad migraines, really, really bad. After it was over I had to get a bit of food and something to drink, but it was very late, and there was no way I would survive any kind of car/cab ride. He was the only person I knew in town, so I sent him a text to see if he knew of anything in my area that would be safe/open that late within walking distance. He drove 30 minutes across town in the middle of the night to walk me to a 24-hour restaurant and buy me dinner. I've been with him for 11 years now.